Isles in the Mist, Part 32, Dungeons and Dragons. Back. The folks of Stormkeep. But why is you hiding your face, StarkItty, behind the paper?
I don't know, but I couldn't keep a straight face much longer. I was like, this is a standoff. Standoff.
Welcome back, everybody.
I was having a staring contest with myself.
With yourself?
Or were you having a staring contest with Philip?
Or both. Maybe they're one and the same. Who knows?
No, Philip was having a staring contest with himself, too.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Enjoy the lurk, Izo!
Oh my gosh, thanks for the lurk and for joining us, Izo.
Yeah,
Daddy Dagoth is here.
I did notice that Izo brought out the band hammer for some people.
Well, not real people. Those are bots. He has this really brilliant way. He's got this website where he can confirm users against this known bots.
I also know that website.
You guys are awesome. By the way, we got not necessarily one of my newer followers, and definitely I think he's new tonight. Is it Rushfell Painting? I love it. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Rushfell.
Dead silent, then Isles in the Mist. I'm glad that you love
the
it.
only thing I was missing from that was the dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah, the Terminator music. Oh my God, so iconic, so iconic. Like that gets me every time just listening to it. Like there's certain musical notes that will forever live in our brains, whether they be from musical artists or movies. Like for movies, of course, the Halloween theme is super iconic. The Terminator theme is iconic. For me, the movie, the music in the movie The Thing, the original one from John Carpenter in 1982, that one is a big one. But
I need to watch that movie again.
I've watched it so many times. It's so good, so good.
The one musical phrase that I always get stuck in my head is definitely video game. No, it's video game related.
No, I was just responding to Aries.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, interrupting you. Video game related.
Yeah, video game related.
Yes, I know what she's about to say.
Da 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 da
Oh,
da da.
no, not that one. I thought you were going to talk about
Final Fantasy.
I thought you were going to talk about the X theme music. That is, I mean, it's probably not as iconic for a lot of people who haven't watched X, the anime series, but once you get the particular X song in your head and you've heard it, you're like, wow, I want to hear that again. And every time you hear it, like, wow, it's phenomenal. So, hello, Aries. Yes, Jaws is a perfect one. Perfect example. Absolutely.
Mario always like the original 8-bit Mario. I found myself like just trying to like when I'm at work, just casually just humming and like tuning to myself, whatever, and a lot of it ends up in a like pitch wave of Mario, and I'm like, I'm singing Mario again.
For me, another one is straight from a musical artist is "Stairway to Heaven" from Led Zeppelin. That one just, I mean, it's yeah. Not this. It's technically actually my second favorite Led Zeppelin song, but I would argue that its music, that particular song, is more well known and more iconic for people than my number one favorite, which is Kashmir.
Oh, Kashmir.
Yeah, but yeah. Man, look at all these wonderful, wonderful people. Chris Nihilus up late tonight to hang out with us for some Dungeons and Dragons, and we love it. And yes, welcome to Stormkeep. Thank you, Druid.
So weird without my glasses on.
So
Yeah.
let's.
I get that too when I take off my glasses to teach, and people are like, "You wear glasses?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah, I always get the it looks like I got punched in the face because I got such dark circles. People are like, "You're wearing eyeshadow?" No. It's all natural.
All natural gloom.
Le natural.
It's called sleep deprived.
See, yeah.
It's the newest shade.
The new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brought to you by YouTube.
I'm
It's
supposed
a
to wear
mental
glasses,
breakdown.
but I don't. I need to get a new prescription for some reading glasses. Damn it! But
I have to wear glasses to read stuff on screens and to see at a distance.
yeah, see, for me, it's kind of the opposite. I'm fine at a distance, and I'm fine on like the screen is like. I can see better. Maybe it's because I spend so much time in front of a computer screen, but I can see computer screen is stuff better than I can like real life. Especially when I'm like reading labels on stuff. I'm like, why do they put it in such a tiny little 0.01 font? What the hell? Sort of mute is going to read that.
Yeah, but then you're able to pick out like the tiniest little pixel on screen of like, ooh, that's where I need to go.
Yes, exactly right. It's like I know exactly when an enemy is from really like 300 yards is popping up right behind this. I'm like, oh, I see it. Shoot, bam. But well, all right. Enough of the chit chat. So tonight we're on episode 32 of Isles in the Mist, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and our hero's journey continues. So real quick though, let's go through our introductions, and then we will do our recaps and such. So we're gonna do it random tonight. Okay. So who first? 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 3. So that's gonna be you, Druid. Introduce yourself and your character, please.
I am Druid IRL, and I play Fern, and she is a wood elf, Circle of Sports Druid. This is Chonkapillar. All hail Chonkapillar. All hail Chonkapillar.
All right, so the next person randomly chosen would be itsStarkitty. Introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm itsStarkitty, and this is my character that I play. Her name is Emillynn Ray. She is the war bard of the party, half elf, College of the Battle Singer bard, and her trusty companion that she can only see and hear, Philip.
Well, next, right over there is.
Don't eat the Chonkapillar.
Yeah, the Chonkapillar. He would give you gas there, Chris. You don't want to do that.
We know eat Chonkapillar.
Whoa.
We know eat forest spirit.
That's right. Oh. So that gentleman over there with the fuzzy face and the comfy sweater is
Extirpatefate. How's it going, everybody? You can call me Fate for short. I am currently playing Lorkris, the Goliath, who is a Oathbreaker Paladin of Valora and a Pact of the Grave Cleric of Wejas.
Well said, well said. And I see why she's laughing, because Dagon said, Chonk is friend, not food.
I read that and I seriously thought of the shark from Finding Nemo. Chonk is friend, not food.
If we stick with that, would it be chonk bait oohaha?
So, finishing up the intros, a lot of you know me probably, I would hope. I'm StormyD of Storm Saga Games. Yeah.
Oh my god!
You just now figuring this out there, Starkitty? We might need to. No.
Oh, hail Stormy!
This is Stormkey, and yeah, we play Dungeons and Dragons here. I do the NPC stuff, and the main NPC that I play is Rylar the Suffrigant, who's one of the party members, and so there we go. Rylar the Suffrigant. He thinks he's a cleric of goo, but really he's a warlock of the Great Old One. So there you go. And having said that, recap from last week's episode. Mostly last week was a little bit of exploring, a little bit of role playing, and a little bit of goofing off, but that's all right. We needed to break because the previous 2 weeks were, 2 or 3 weeks were slammed with lots of combat, right? Like 3 weeks in a row. brutal combat. In fact, that last combat episode almost wiped the whole party. It was close.
Yep. We almost had a TPK.
Yeah. So last week, a little bit of a breather. They explored a secret tunnel that was on the secret map that they found. But they found a secret tunnel that was not on the secret map that they found. And leading them to believe that the leadership of the cult doesn't necessarily trust all the moving parts of their own organization. And after they explored the non-secret tunnel, again, they found the entrance to the secret tunnel, but they're going to eventually check that out later. They decided to reconnoiter through, popping up the full screen map of the gold. By the way, they're doing missions for the MGA, the Merchant Guild Association, in the Goldothian mines. And so they decided, you know what, we're going to do our reconnoiter, our scout. Their secret tunnel led from Sector E over to Sector H. And they decided after they reconnoitered H, they're going to head back to D, turn in a report of what's going on, get a little rest in, and then head back to H, where their new plan is to, they want to camp out in H, in Sector H, and have the bard play the special forest music that she found, with the intention of perhaps drawing out the enemy that they're hunting. Basically, they want to make themselves into bait to trick the hunters into hunting them, when really the party are the ones that are hunting the hunters. And so that's their plan anyway. We'll see how the plan goes. And Chris says, what's the overall story in a few words? I missed several episodes and I'm lost. Well, I'd have to know where you left off at. There's been a lot going on over the last year, almost. We started streaming this in February? And so...
yeah.
March.
Was it March?
March.
Okay.
I do believe, yeah. It was March.
But I don't mind giving a little quick recap, Chris. Basically, after the party members joined the Merchant Guild Association, they were kind of all brought together, working for Mr. Jocko's Relic Hunters, which is one of the unranked guilds. But they're working hard to help Mr. Jocko rank up his guild, and they've done remarkable progress. Man, they've taken on a lot of challenges. They've fought Ettins, ogres, stone giants, corrupted shamblers that were protected by a will-o'-the-wisp. That was a nasty combination there. They almost got killed by a chimera.
I almost got killed by a chimera.
They've killed hordes of goblins and hobgoblins. They fought a lobster monster. And you chime in anything else that you guys remember that I'm leaving out.
A bone claw.
Right.
Bog witches.
That's right. The bog witches were a big thing. Yeah. So correct, yeah. Chris. Basically, they're working for a. Here, let me real quick. We'll go to which one is this? Full map scene. So we'll show you guys. This is the full world map. When I say world map, I'm not saying this is the actual world. This is the adventuring world, and in that this is they call it Frontier Isle, the Isles in the Mist. And effectively what had happened was less than a decade ago, the various nations of the mainland continent had developed seafaring technology, ship technology, where they could actually travel further out than a certain range around the coastline. And they, by exploring further out into the ocean, they eventually found this area, this island that's surrounded by this mist. And that's why they call it the Isles in the Mist. It's the mist is almost a barrier, except it doesn't actually stop anybody from going in or out. It's just kind of a spooky barrier, and it makes all of the surrounding ocean green with algae, and also just a little bit of extra background for everybody who might have forgotten. The only way to access the island is through pretty much those southern coastlines, because if you go too far to the north, there's such a massive variety of reef and rock and broken land that ships just, in their first exploration, the ships got mired and basically became a graveyard of ships on each side. And also, just so you know about this world, flight and teleportation technology hasn't developed very well yet. So there is some minor teleportation technology, but it's very short distance. And flight technology, flight magical technology is also very short distance. So pretty much on this map, the areas that you see past the Goldathian mines and the Ironcrest Hills has not been explored at all, because the mountain range and that forest, all of that area up there, cannot be accessed by flight, because the flight isn't good enough, or teleportation, because the distance is just too far, especially when you factor in the height of some of the mountains. And also that I can't quite read my own writing, the forest,
The deep woods.
The deep wood is basically a giant kind of entangled area. And imagine the entanglement spell if it were like 1,000 times bigger, right? Like redwood-sized vines that have just created this massive impenetrable wall in between those areas. And for some reason, no matter how much what the Merchant Guild Association has thrown at it, they can't get very far into it before it regenerates on its own really quickly, or is it just indestructible from certain kinds of attacks. And so basically, over the last 5 years or so, the Merchant Guild Association, the main merchant guild of the entire continent where they all came from, the mainland continent, that Merchant Guild Association is spearheading efforts to colonize, explore, and effectively, exploit the resources of this land, of this isle. And so that's what brings all the adventures there. So that's kind of the recap of what's been going on in the party. Although there's a little bit more, there's actually quite a bit more to the backstory of all the characters and how things have been going on for them individually, because each, especially Fern and Lorkris over there.
Lorkris is a usurper.
They were drawn to this island by fate. And
yes.
And it turns out that for some reason there is a cult operating using some sort of humanoid, goblinoid invasion force, goblins and humanoids and giants and such. And the cult is called the Cult of the Bloody Eye, and their banner is this bleeding eye, right? And for some reason, this cult wants Fern. And once she started being active on the island, it became obvious that they wanted her for some reason. And so that was kind of what was going on. They've run into situations and encounters that led them to realize this. And so now that made them want to protect her more. But then not that long ago, they went on a mission into a burial mound area that had been kind of corrupted by undead, and they found a unique kind of undead creature populating the area. After they got through the hordes of ghouls and wights, they found creatures called deathlocks down there that appear to be organized and using these strange kind of I guess you would call them like arcane circuits that are underground, kind of spread out from the north east, and they're using them to teleport around and steal bodies. And these deathlocks somehow recognize Lorkris as some sort of usurper or false prophet. And so that is another mystery of what's going on. So it seems to be that there are two opposing forces on this island. And then also the last super big disturbing news disturbing information that they gathered was that the the Deathlock beings, after having defeated them and taken a sample of their bones, their remains, apparently they are 15,000 years old. Which is
15 with 3 zeros.
Yeah, which is basically prehistoric to the mainland, like way before recorded history of the mainland. So, there's a lot going on that they just they don't understand where they fit in, where they tie in, how they tie in. But something spooky's going on, and they at least figured out the mystery of the blue lights. So for some reason, Fern has been able to visualize every time the enemy, the Deathlocks, were using their teleportation network. Even though she was hundreds of miles away, sometimes she could visualize when they were using it, and the party kind of came to the theory that maybe because she has such a connection to the land as a special kind of druid, that that whenever the land is disturbed by this magical disturbance, that it shows up to her as a visual reference, but in reality it's just her kind of sensing the land, a disturbance in the land. And and then when they figured that out, it turned out that they figured out that it was these blue arcane, they called them root clusters, but really they're just arcane clusters of some sort of magical material. So at any rate, that's kind of where we're at. By the way, during all of their kind of previous adventures was when the Golgothian mines, some members of the MGA in mining the Golgothian mines, of course with adventurers going down to protect, they eventually broke open areas of the Golgothian mines. It turned out there was a whole subsection of mines that existed in the Golgothian mines that were completely overrun with goblinoids, humanoids, and giants, and this cult of the Bloody Eye. And so it's been that because there was such a huge army of them down there spilling out, they had to focus a lot of their efforts. The higher ranked guilds, higher ranked adventurers had to be sequestered down in the Golgothian mines just to fend back this seemingly endless supply of monsters. And that is what leads us to this map right here. And just to recap it, the blue areas are areas that are controlled by the MGA. The greenish brown areas are, what is my own wording there? What does that say? contested zones, and then the red areas are cult controlled. Now, to be clear, some of this is actually inaccurate. I keep forgetting I need to make a new map, a new version of this map, but I will eventually. So one of the missions that the party members undertook was to push back the enemy in area of F and J, and they basically slew a bunch of giants and a dire troll to clean out the area in J over to the left there. So now that is technically all the way down to F and to B is all MGA controlled now. And lately what the party members have been doing is exploring around from E. They cleaned out K too. It turned out there was that was the big fight where they almost died a couple of weeks ago. And there was basically a meeting of hobgoblin bosses and bugbear bosses, and there's just a bunch of elite troops. And it sounded like they were making plans to figure out a way to get around behind the MGA through the secret tunnels that existed. And so the party members took the risk of taking them down and almost died in the process, but they did it. They took the leadership down. Now, it's obviously not all of the leadership. It's just one cluster of leaders. And so, but the main force is still in J, and that area in L is a giant, 3-mile long bridge. All of those squares are a mile each. So these mines are very long and deep. And L is a bridge over a giant chasm that is so deep it has not been explored. And also because, the MGA has not been able to push past G, which is where the main force of the monsters are congregating. And where basically the cult of the Bloody Eye has made their kind of headquarters area. But somehow, and there's all these giant iron doors that block off each side of L, and so that is the gist of it. Now, as I said, the party rested up in Sector D, and their plan was to head back to Sector H. Do a musical camp session for a day or two and see if they could draw out. Their new mission was to explore this area. Of course, they went on above and beyond by taking out some elite monsters at K. But their other main mission in this area is to basically find and draw out a guerrilla warfare team of monsters that have been striking the flanks of the MGA on multiple occasions. They are led by an Oni that the party members had faced in a near a haunted tower, and so yeah, that's who they're hunting. They're hunting basically, it's almost like a monster version of a, what they're hunting is like a monster version of an adventuring party. It's 4 team members. They got an Oni as their mage. They know from scouts that the 3 of the party members, they do not know the 4th party member. There's no information on the 4th party member. But one of them is the Oni. The other is this brutal dual chain wielding ogre, and the other is a dual blade wielding minotaur. And that's the 3 members that are known. The 4th is unknown. So there we go. That's the recap. Thank you all for listening. So now, speaking of recaps, there's one other thing we like to do before we jump into the adventure, and that is I randomly have everybody tell me what stood out to their character the most last week. And so let's do it to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Druid, or should I say Fern?
Okay. So, like, it is so cool down here because, like, the cave told me exactly how to fix it. In my dream. That's why we're down here. You know? That's probably why we are down here, is to be able to fix the mind. Because it sent me a dream. We have to go close a portal. I know we have to fight the Oni, but like that's now like number 2 on my list of things that are my priorities right now.
Right on. Anything else, Fern?
But if we kill them, I'm sure we can try to figure out, have them to, like, before we kill them, I'm like, where is this portal?
Right on. Okay.
That's what stood out.
Excellent. Thank you, milady. Speaking of milady, Emillynn Ray.
All right. Okay. So we're wandering around the mines for probably about a week now. Very dark, very dreary. Lots of secret entrances here and there. Luckily, we have Rylar to point all these things out. Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting time last time, just wondering, where's this passage going to lead us? Is it going to lead us to an enemy? Or is it going to lead us to an ally? It's very interesting, flipping the coin and the risk involved. Because we found another secret entrance that's not on a map anywhere. And yes, Philip, I know you're tired of the mines. We've only been here a week, okay? Just a week. You can handle it. I mean, if you can lead me out of one area that I get lost in, we can get out of this one too.
Philip is the imaginary friend that only Emillynn Ray can see and hear. Of course.
Real.
Yes. See, the other party members believe in her so much that they believe that he is real, and so and I think that's amazing. So
Philip has been with me since I was a child. Okay, he got me back home when I got lost in the woods. Okay.
In a cave in the woods.
Yes.
You fell down in a well.
Mm-hmm. He got me out. I trust him with my life.
Okay. All right then. Lorkris.
It's quite strange. I can almost imagine Philip hating these mines as much as I do. This Oni is going to be a problem. I hate this. I know. Fern will be fine. I think. I need to talk to Emillynn.
Gotcha. So, by the way, is your gain all the way up?
Yes.
Okay, all right. You're just a little bit faint, but it's all right.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
The project.
Yes, remember. All right. Well, Rylar, he was amazed by that sewage Odiug pool that you guys found. He was like, "What the heck is that thing? It eats poop." And like he's having a hard time getting that out of his head. He was like, "Would that be something I'd have to fight, or something I can make friends with?" That's what's been mulling over in his head. And he really loved drawing it, though. You know, during camp session, he really loved drawing it. And
I have a feeling Rylar's going to try and go make friends with it when we're done.
well, he sticks to you guys, so it's only if you guys go over there.
That'd be Fern.
It'd be
It would be both of us. We
Yeah.
would both thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Lorkris and I will be standing there in the background going.
So
Do you want me to jump down there to get them, or you? I'll just jump down there when I need to.
Same.
Never mind. Here's a rope.
Like, have you guys learned your
Grab it,
lesson
my
yet?
hands are slippery.
So, yeah, Rylar's excited to go camping in the cave. He doesn't really, when you have a plan to camp somewhere, he sees it as some sort of exciting event. He doesn't really equate the fact that every time that you guys, camp out while you're traveling, it's still a camp out. To him, that's just like, part of the work. But when you all have a plan to camp somewhere, he's like super excited about that. So, all right. That is the recap. Now, thank you all for joining us. We're going to go what I call chat dark until we, have our first intermission. So stick around and enjoy the show. We appreciate you.
We love you, chat.
Yes. Here we go. All right. Let's go back to the map briefly, and I'll show you guys. Obviously, just to recap, you're going to be traveling. You're camping in Sector D. And if you remember correctly, you helped the team in Sector D find this secret door. Well, it's more than secret. It's actually a magical door, right? That leads to a tunnel over towards that center area in Sector C, right? So, and they created a spot there that's going to be basically like a defense area, but you guys, the morning comes. You've although I guess in the morning when you're chatting, it sounded like you wanted to role play something with Miss Ray, either in the morning or when you're on the road. So let me know when you're ready for that, Lorkris. Did you want to do it in the morning when you're breaking camp, or on the road towards H?
We can do it on the road towards H.
Okay. Well, then to simplify things, you guys say your goodbyes to Captain Rigel. Well, actually, no, he would have. That's right. He said he was going to be going. So you say goodbyes to the other folks in charge in that area, and you head northward to Sector H. And you time your rest and everything in such a way, like you rest extra time, hang out with the folks at D, meet the adventuring groups that are there, and you decide to head to Sector H, and it's not going to take long since it's only a few miles, and so on your road.
On the road again.
So Emillynn,
You're gonna have to point your mouth at the mic.
is it really not picking up?
You're also talking pretty quiet.
Am I?
Yeah.
No. Sorry. Emillynn.
Yes, Lorkris, yes. Philip, we'll continue this conversation. Yes.
Was I interrupting something?
Oh, Philip just likes to chat sometimes, even when I'm not paying attention.
Got it. Like Fern, yes. How should we tackle this? I know we discussed a while ago on what we should do, but we are now drawing the enemy to us, or at least attempting to.
So,
out of curiosity, you're saying this with the group in earshot of the other party members, right? Yeah, I thought so. I thought so.
Yeah.
So, yes, we haven't come up with a plan of attack after we've lured them in. So,
I mean, I know we discussed before on whether or not the Oni should be the primary focus, or should we worry about his friends first?
I have a feeling his friends are going to hit harder. But
Okay, because okay. So I made sure to prepare to have that one thing Earthbind. So in case like the Oni tries to fly away, we can like grab him or her, whoever, you know. So they cannot fly away.
That's fair.
I don't know. Should we all try to focus on like one at a time per person, or?
I mean, actually, as an aside, did we already put the spells in Rylar's ring that we wanted to?
Yeah, I'm assuming that we did. I wrote it down as 1 level 3 fireball and 2 healing words.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I had that thought the other day, and considering how this was going, I knew we would been able to, but I wanted to make sure that it was properly done, so we didn't.
Oh, speaking of, dang it, I forgot
Yes.
to start the music. Oh, it's starting now.
Now Dagoth's comment makes sense. Dead silence and then isles in the mist.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how to handle this.
Well, you're a lot better at dealing at one at a time. So I think that you should try to go after the biggest and strongest looking one, and then we just fight off the rest of them. And we'll just pretend like the Oni is just like nothing and just treat it like the rest of the party and just try to kill it.
So I believe the Minotaur is going to be at least up close, and the one with the chains is going to be a little bit of a range. So,
I mean, if we can get them all in one small space, Rylar, your what do you call it? The unicorn.
Oh, the unicorn poo!
Oh my unicorn vomit.
Yes.
Vomit. Sorry.
It's okay.
Might not be.
It's okay. I
not be a
guess
bad idea.
I could try that. I don't know if it's gonna work very well against the Oni mage guy, but maybe the other ones.
If anything, it could at least hinder them, allow us to focus on one or two at a time rather than.
So you want that to be I'll be ready to hit one with that if you want, 1 or 2 if I can, you know, however many I can hit with it. You guys just let me know when, and they'll be like my first spell I go with probably or something. Okay.
definitely sounds like a plan.
Also, maybe like having like the black bud blaster.
Oh yeah.
Be like towards like the big chain ogre or something.
Those are both concentration, aren't they?
No.
No. Hypnotic pattern's not concentration.
Nope. I mean, I'll double check, but it's,
I'm pretty sure. I hate how I get hungry now.
Right.
Is that your character or is that Fern? I mean, was it Druid?
Both?
It's Druid.
Oh, okay. Both.
I would almost imagine both.
We can take a short break
I'm pretty
because
sure Fern
I need
is
to go
hungry
use
all
the
the time.
bathroom because coffee went right through me.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
I also have to use.
All right.
Quick,
Well,
go.
While you're figuring out if it's concentration or not.
yeah. So hypnotic pattern is not a concentration spell,
Gotcha.
and so.
Okay. Yeah, because now just speaking kind of a little more plainly on spells, I was looking at it. I definitely blindness, deafness. Yeah. Yeah, we need to work on that crowd control, I think.
I forget. Did he end up?
Yes.
Did Rylar use the hypnotic pattern against when you guys fought the bosses fight?
Yes, and he caught 2 of I think the gnolls.
Right.
Yeah, from the perspective that I am looking at the map, they were on the left-hand side from where he ran around in front of the tent. Then he got grouped on, and there was 2, and he got them both.
Right.
Yeah.
So Rylar reminds you guys, also you gotta tell me when to use this fireball in the ring. I think I can figure out when to use the healing word. I've been watching, Fern and Miss Ray do that on you guys when you fall down and take a nap. So I will gladly, kind of do that. If you want, I'll do that like instead of, that way I can reserve you guys' spells. I don't know. What do you think? You want me to use the, like if somebody goes down, you guys want me to be the first thing I do is healing word on them from the ring?
Sure. Plus, there's only a bonus action. You can still hit them with your purple beamer.
Oh, I can? It can do that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember.
You can do a healing word, purple beamer.
That's awesome. Alrighty.
Because healing word is a bonus action, right?
So I got the question I've been thinking about. Well, it's another thing I've been thinking about. The main thing I've been thinking about is if we should, go back and make friends with that Odiug. That would be fun. But that's a
Yeah.
another story. The second thing I've been thinking about is, since we met that Oni and he ran away from us, a lot of some time and some stuff has passed and we've gotten stronger. So we'll probably be stronger against him. But it made me wonder too that he's been fighting adventures and MGA soldiers and stuff too. I wonder if he might be stronger now too. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, but we'll be okay.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yes,
Right,
Fern.
Lorkris?
We will be
Yeah.
okay.
You'll be fine. Okay.
I was literally
then-
about to look up 5e Black Butt Blaster and realized that would not actually bring up a spell.
Ray of Enfeeblement.
Thank you.
Concentration up to 1 minute. And at the end of each of their turns, they can make a con saving throw against the spell to deal half damage with weapons that use strength.
All right. So, you all continue walking on and make your way to Sector H. Does everybody do you guys feel like you feel a little more confident about what you might want to do?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll take the largest physical threat initially, and then kind of just go from there. Don't get me wrong, I understand plans are great until they go sideways. Just adapt on the fly, but having an idea of what to do or how we should focus our attention. Though I think we do well working instinctually
Yeah.
as well.
I just think that as long as one of the really big strong guys is occupied or something, then I think we'll be okay with everybody else. Because there's more of us that know magic. And it sounds like maybe only one. But we don't know about the fourth guy. Maybe he's a super sneaky shadow thing or something that will pop out of the shadows.
Don't remind
Who knows?
me.
Don't remind you?
Don't remind me of those things that can pop out of the shadows that happened in our last fight.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, dude,
Yeah, that's
you're
right.
in my personal space.
It was that.
Get out.
It was that hobgoblin ninja that.
Yeah, he was all up in my personal
also-
space.
Also, didn't
Philip
help
didn't
that,
like it.
That Emillynn is the only one that's seen a shadowy figure just pop up and disappear. Still have no idea what that is.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, back in the
That-
haunted tower.
I 100% Lorkris would be like, did you ever figure
That
Now that
would
you
be
mention it.
number 4 is the super sneaky ninja guy because he was there scoping out the tower before those guys showed up. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ugh.
Philip says she's got a point. It's possible.
Yeah.
Rylar says she's got a point, huh? What did she say? I was dreaming of pie.
Remember that
I want
shadowy
pie too,
figure
Rylar.
that I saw in the tower?
Right. Did no one else saw?
Yep, that nobody else saw. Well, Philip saw it.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 people that saw.
Okay. Anyway.
So Fern was saying maybe that shadowy figure that I saw in the tower was part of the Oni group that, you know, tried to take over the tower. He was scouting out.
Who knows?
Yeah?
You never know.
Yeah, I guess if it, yeah, okay, that makes sort of sense. Yeah, I can see that. Alrighty then. Well, you guys continue this conversation and, you know, walk a few miles and eventually come to the spot in Sector H where you kind of start exploring around several miles through the kind of maze of stalagmites and stalactites. You find, but if you remember correctly, I told you there was just one open area, and near kind of a little underground pond, and so you figure it's, you know, a perfect spot, and drop a squat. So you guys,
Is there a fish in the pond?
no, remember the miasma.
I still have to check.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. It's really, I call it a pond, but it's really more of a, just like a fetid pool of, what do they call that kind of water? What's the word I'm looking for?
Mineral, liquids build up. I don't know.
No, basically just like, you know.
Oh, like a stagnant
Yes,
pond?
stagnant, that's the word, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Rylar.
Yes.
Before we set up camp, can you take a look around and make sure there isn't anything magical in this area? You know, like maybe somebody is invisible.
Oh, of course. You
Or
know, if
maybe
I saw
there's a-
something like that, I would tell you right away. Well, out of character, he can't see invisible,
Oh, okay.
right? I don't think so.
You can only just, yeah, because I think we've asked about that. He doesn't necessarily see invisibility,
Right.
Because I feel like that breaks the idea of that detect magic.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yeah. So he can't see invisible, but like he can see. He just sees stuff that's magical.
Okay.
But at any rate, so you did want him to look around, I assume. So you guys decide to camp. As you can see, you can kind of see the little pond there in the center. You guys spread out for about. Do you want to go all the way to the lower walls in this southwest area and check the walls, or you just want to look around where you're camping and see if he's have him see if he sees anybody?
We're gonna start in our camp area and then make our way down to the wall.
Or you want to go all the way down the wall and come back and camp?
Yeah. And just
Okay.
see if there's any other secret tunnels that are not on our map.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, yeah, you don't find any secret tunnels that are not on your map, or at least not in that area. And he doesn't see anything out of the ordinary. Of course, he wouldn't see invisible, but yeah, you get the idea. He doesn't see anything magical. So, and we sit back down to camp by the bedded pool, the stagnant water.
All right.
Fern is itching to cleanse this place of the miasma so that that pool can eventually be something more than stagnant
Sorry, flashbang.
puddle.
All right. Look at everybody going.
And start playing some music so I can dance.
It's like, all right, I will get started. Take out the violin, take a stand, and then I start playing.
Okay.
After I tune my instrument.
Did you want to tell everybody a song that you start off with? You haven't shared a song with the folks in a while.
I still have songs in progress that I'm working on.
You could redo one you've done before, though.
I mean, I could give you guys a snippet of one that I'm currently working on.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready? We ready for
it's
this?
perfect that you're wearing your Bardcore shirt and you are unveiling a portion of a new song now.
Hardcore.
Okay. If I could cast just one spell your way, I'll pray, and I know my God is with me every step of the way, and I will always heal you. Yes, I will always heal you. You, my teammate, you. That's as far as I got.
Okay, Whitney.
Oh, that's good. Yep. Just kidding.
Nice.
Just change love to heal.
Right. We get it. All right, nicely done. So you sing that one, and of course you basically spend, downtime before camp, before you guys sleep, going through this music over and over again. And of course you have Rylar on the scan. Of course, all of you guys are looking out, right? You have dark vision, so you can see at 60 feet. He can see up to 120 feet, and he can, of course, see the magic. And you guys are just basically, you're pretending like you're not looking, like you're just enjoying, right? It's all kind of a ruse, but you all kind of take turns scanning and watching, and unfortunately, hours go by, and a couple hours go by before you decide to, actually it's nighttime and ready to camp and sleep and everything. Although I think my guess is your plan is to, fake sleep for some portion of it, right? I mean, obviously, I guess for Fern, I mean, none of you used any resources getting here, so there's no reason why you can't do that. You all rest. You all end up playing the music, and it doesn't work this first night. And you realize kind of late in the night when you actually are starting to get tired, because you've all kind of pretend slept and stayed up, and you did your usual watches, but everybody's pretend sleeping, that it didn't quite work. Maybe it was just, I mean, in all honesty, it has to be almost like the right kind of coincidence, right? I mean, it's going to take time. So, the question is, do you want to go another day doing that? Do you want to wander around and explore H some more, and then head back and try again?
Yeah, maybe head to that tower.
Oh, I was going to say, after we check around here, We should go down that other tunnel that we found.
Did you want to do that? I thought your plan was to try and to draw them to you first before you went and explored that. I mean, it's whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah. I'm feeling extra curious today. Just throwing that out there. If we don't do it, that's fine. But yeah, explore H.
Okay, so you guys head around the pond up to the tower, and you find basically an old ruined tower that has been obviously destroyed over many battles. You know, in a battle zone. Actually, we'll do. She was saying 5, but we'll do 2. A lot of battle zone around that tower, and you know, you can off in the distance you can see that huge dark tunnel leading, you know, northwest. That's heading into the monster-controlled zone, right? The cult-controlled zone, and but for the most part, you know, you know that you chatted with the leadership at, I think it was what, D, and you told them don't send their regular patrols. They obviously usually have a round of patrols that check out that area to make sure that no monsters have moved into it, right? Because you want to be the bait, right? So you purposely had them not. Yeah.
Okay, I have an idea. I don't know if this is smart or not. If we venture.
Sorry, your finger was also obscuring your voice.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If we venture a bit more north and intercept a small scouting team or someone to send a message, that may accelerate our plan. Just a thought.
Well, I'm surprised there hasn't been a scouting team that has come this direction, because we know there is
Yeah, over in K, you guys cleaned up their bosses.
Yeah, we cleaned up K, but there's G in the other direction, and I'm sure if they had sent a team, a patrol team, they might have heard my music, but nobody showed up.
I wonder if it's wise to maybe venture closer.
To G?
I mean, we need to get their attention somehow. I'm happy to stay here at the tower and...
Unless that's what they're planning on us doing, heading towards G.
Yeah.
And then flanking us from behind.
I mean, I think our initial idea of playing music is wise, and it can draw some attention of something.
So by the way, the ruined tower is just kind of mostly collapsed. There's not much left of it. It's just a ruined tower. There's no even like second level to go up to. It's just, you know, kind of the shell, the hull. But it's still a good camp spot because obviously it had been used by the monsters for. So,
Well, I could just start yelling, Oni, where are you? We just want to say hi. We just want to hang out. I'm here to turn myself in.
Rylar raises his hand.
Yes, Rylar.
Well, you know, I remember the guy that helped my mom and raise me and stuff. He used to sometimes take me fishing, And he said that you got to be patient when you're fishing. Is it the same way with hunting?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we should just stick to the plan, but like Lorkris said, move a little closer and be closer to this tower instead of where we were at before.
Yeah, we can do that.
As of now, I feel it's the safest option.
Okay. So
Now with I was gonna say now with this tower, I know you say it's a ruined tower, the floor, but in and around its space, would it be considered difficult terrain because it's run down?
well, like
or is
right
it
up on
pretty-
it, but not necessarily, where you guys would camp near the pool.
Okay.
So it collapsed into itself.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. That is all.
Cool. All right. So you guys camp again, and while you're camping, you do your usual, play the music again, and Rylar suggests, he says, I wonder if maybe, if we just, I know we need to be extra cautious and stuff, but like, what if we do like actual regular watches? Because we need to rest, right? We need to get a good rest since we lost so much rest last night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
plan.
Okay. So he's happy about that because he sighs with relief because he's all tired. All right. So you guys that night, sadly, you're hoping at least some sort of like humanoid patrol would come down one of those two tunnels, right, to the north. But nothing comes. And so you guys camp for the night and do a regular camp this time. Refresh my memory on the watch.
Lorkris?
I got it. Lorkris, Rylar, Fern, Emillynn.
Okay. During Emillynn Ray's watch,
Fern is probably still up. Fern is up with me too.
okay, so there's two of you. So the two guys are sleeping soundly, and you guys, both of you with your high perception, don't you have like a 19 or 20, and she's
I
like
have a 20.
you have a 20, and she's like a 19. Yeah. Miss Ray, you actually hear the crack of a stone fall nearby, and you're out in the darkness in that direction, and Fern sees you look in that direction, and for a moment you thought you saw movement of kind of pale skin, but really small, low to the ground, like maybe a goblin. But you're it's right at the edge of your vision, right? And you're not sure what you saw or heard, but what do you say or do? Fern sees you looking and listening. You stop in the middle of your, conversation with her.
Fern, did you see movement over there? Like a pale
No.
skin looking short thing?
No. Should I try to sneak out there? To see?
No.
I could be really, really sneaky.
No, Fern. If it's the Oni's team, they would want you to sneak off without the rest of us. I'm not letting them capture you.
That is so true. This is why you are in charge. Should we wake up Lorkris and send them out there?
This is close to the end of your evening anyway, because this is on the last part of the watch. There's only like another hour and a half of the nighttime rest anyway.
Yes, we should wake them up just in case.
Okay, so you wake up the other party members.
Mm-hmm.
Lorkris, as usual, the stoic, trained warrior that he is, wakes up ready. And Rylar's all like...
Lorkris, sorry to wake you up a little early, but I saw something in that direction. It made noise, looked very pale-skinned and short.
Like, short, like what? Something unnaturally short, or
Like a goblin short?
how long?
A few minutes ago.
A few minutes.
Shall I go hunting?
I offered to go out there and go sneaking, but Miss Ray was like, no, because they want to steal you. And I was like, good point.
Don't forget to speak up, guys. We heard you
I don't know
barely,
what-
but
I don't.
no, she was
understand.
talking really quiet at that time.
Yeah.
It's not you guys. Like, I
Well,
think you just.
you also
It's just.
didn't
I
mess
mean, it
with
is you
the-
guys. It's
That's
not your tech.
Streamlabs.
It's not your tech.
No, I know. I did adjust some settings, but it's through Streamlabs, not through Discord.
So I saw it at the edge of my dark vision, so I don't know if you want to go out like 40 feet and see if you can see a little further.
Oh, Rylar can just look because he can see farther than all of us.
Oh yes, I forget. Rylar can see further than all of us.
What am I looking at?
Rylar, do you see anything in that direction?
Which direction?
I point in the direction that I heard the noise.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see them teeth like rocks.
Do you see any pale-looking short goblin?
No.
No? That's why we woke you guys up. I saw and heard something.
Okay.
Philip did too.
We could go. We could go try and. It's nap time's over now, right? We could go try and hunt it. Like we could go try and track it if it was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could. Yeah. All right, everybody, pack up camp.
All right, you pack
Stay
up camp,
vigilant.
and you stay vigilant.
We
and
could be
you-
walking into a trap.
You head over, and I'm gonna have all the folks with survival as a skill roll survival to find tracks. A little tougher in this terrain because of the, it's a cave, but it's still, yeah. I'm gonna put my volume on my speaker up a tad. I just have to be really careful because if I have our speaker up too high, then our mics pick up you guys and reverberate it, so.
Yeah.
15.
Anybody else have survival skill? Or is it just
Rylar
me,
does.
me and Rylar? Is it just her and Rylar?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about if you're proficient with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could still roll, because, whether you're proficient or not. But you just would have to roll really good.
I rolled a 6. I have a +9.
Wow, that's pretty good. Rylar's only got a +8. I rolled a 10, which gives you an 18. Anybody else gonna roll?
I rolled a natural 18 for 21.
Okay. Sure enough, 20 was the target, so you guys got lucky. Apparently. You find
Good thing.
what looks like a small footprint, but strangely enough, it looks, at first you thought it was a goblin footprint based upon the size, but then looking at it closer, the way the foot of the footprint is, it looks like the footprint of a small humanoid, like maybe either a halfling, a gnome, or yeah, definitely not goblin. The more you look at it. What's going on? Everything okay?
Yeah, just coughing.
I just choked on water.
Oh, poor thing.
Everything's fine.
What just
I hate it when that happens. You okay?
Yeah. We're good.
What?
Whoa, what was that? What was that all about?
My eyes watered.
Oh.
What?
What's the matter?
No, I'm just wondering why my mouse just disconnected.
Maybe the battery died? Is it a...
No, it's brand new. Anyway, continue on.
Okay.
Fern,
So
Rylar, what'd you guys find?
gnome.
I didn't find
it's-
anything, but Lorkris found something. Now I see it, what
Oh.
he's showing. Mm-hmm.
It is small, but it's not goblin. It's more of would Lorkris know what like a halfling or like if a halfling?
Well, yeah, you've
was,
met
like, a
halfling. You worked with a halfling, and
That's
yeah,
that's
and
right. Sorry.
you also know you've seen some of them. Some of the groups have gnome adventurers, so it could be a halfling or a gnome, but it's not like you purposely ever tracked either a halfling or a gnome. Just basically a small humanoid footprint versus a small goblinoid footprint.
Gotcha. I relay that.
Where did the tracks lead off to?
So
That way.
I'll show you on the map. From where you're at, on the map, look in Sector H. You're by the tower, which is you're kind of in between the tower and the little pond, right? Mm-hmm. The tracks that he found lead south. Well, as far as you've gone, you haven't gone very far. They lead roughly south east, like along the water line.
Should we follow the tracks?
Sure. Why
Okay.
not?
Lorkris said sure.
Fern,
Yeah. Yes.
Rylar.
Rylar's like, I'm following you guys.
Okay.
I didn't know about this tracks, but okay. I see them now. I can help. And for all three of us now can like follow the tracks, right? So now as we follow along the tracks, we need to roll again to keep track of them because it's a couple of they go off for a mile or two. Oh, that's much better. Wow.
23.
Nice. What'd you get?
14.
Gotcha. Rylar got a 26, so yeah, you and Fern easily find these, and we see these tracks. They are, in fact, Rylar and Fern too. Well, no, actually, she didn't quite get to that 25 mark. Rylar's like, he says, I don't. I like you guys find the tracks and you keep tracking them, and they lead southward, southeast, and around the pond. And they actually lead back into the tunnel where you guys came from, towards the Odiug. Or at least that direction so far. And then...
So it circles around south and then it kind of goes northeast.
Yeah, I'll bring the map up one more time again. And then we're like popping the map in and out. But yeah, basically it goes around the pond, and then it starts to head east into that tunnel where you came from.
This one.
A couple of days ago.
Yeah. Okay.
And Rylar says, I think I don't think it's the gnome track or the halfling, because I remember like halflings, their tracks, the way they widen out because of their, they got the fur on their feet and stuff, you can tell that. But and then Fern confirms this, and then he says, in gnome feet, they because they're harder, they're more hardened and stuff, that you can kind of tell Like, this doesn't look right. I think, I don't know, but I'd say it was like a little human.
A baby or something.
Well, you look at it based on your 23 roll, and you know, baby's a bit young. It definitely looks. If it is human, though, it is probably a child of some kind. Probably you're guessing.
Why is it?
Not like a toddler, but more like, and not like an infant, but more like grade school age, somewhere in that range.
It's so young. That's so baby. It
So at
looks like a
least
little tiny.
5 to 7 years old.
More like 7 to 10.
Oh, that grade school age. Okay.
Oh wow.
Maybe as much as 12. You don't know. It's hard to tell, depending.
Onward, team! Let's find this child.
Okay, so you continue following the tracks, and we'll have you
What
ready?
if?
What's the matter? Oh,
What if?
Hmm?
Because the Oni can shapeshift and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be sure that that we are ready just in case that we are watching.
oh yeah. He's like,
Because it could
right.
not be actually a little baby or anything, It
Right.
could be a fake baby and we're being led into a trap.
That's why I said we must stay vigilant. Could be a trap.
Yeah, and I will look and see. Remember, I could tell when the Oni was magically polymorphed into something, right?
Mhm.
Because of the magic aura. I mean, I didn't know it was an Oni under there. I couldn't see that. That would be like that new spell I got, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could just tell that there's this magical aura around him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when if we find this person, I can cast that my mystic arcanum spell for you guys, or whoever you wants it, and it give you true sight for like an hour. Hopefully that will help. Anyway.
We will see. But just remember, everyone, eyes and ears open.
All right. So, you guys continue your journey, following these tracks. Everybody roll again. One more time for the extra mile. Rylar loses the tracks pretty hardcore. They're, by the way, down this tunnel, they're a little easier to follow, so the DC isn't quite as bad as it was before. But
20.
you got a 20?
Hey,
Nice, okay. It was more than you needed. Rylar didn't get there. I rolled a 2, so he had a total of a 10, so he wouldn't have found it.
16.
16? 16 would have been fine. But so the two of you keep track. And guess what? These tracks lead directly to the
Secret door.
The secret door that leads to this the secret tunnel that you guys haven't explored yet.
It's the Oni. Gotta be the Oni. They went through this door.
open it, open it.
That's one way to find out.
Everybody ready?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's shaking her head no and saying yeah. All right.
Yes,
So-
I am so ready. Yes.
who's opening
yes.
So ready.
Opening
It's
the door.
so ready. It's like being brave.
All right. So you guys, who's opening it? And I'm assuming you're gonna use the herald and the command phrase.
Yes, I'll open the door.
You open the door.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You open the door, and you see a dark tunnel on the other side. Not quite as big as the ones you've been traveling through, though. More like a small, manually carved tunnel. But okay, it's not true. It's not small. It's actually Oh, I'd say
It's
roughly
just smaller.
Yeah, smaller. Yeah, smaller. It's still roughly, 15 feet in height, a little bit narrower, roughly 8 feet wide, and roughly carved. And so,
Before we walk in, do you guys see tracks?
oh, we're gonna track again.
Just in case.
That's a good point.
I mean, I want to make sure that, maybe he teleported or he, dimension doored. What'd you get, Fern?
18.
18?
17.
Yes. Still more tracks leading into the tunnel.
This is about roughly 8 feet wide.
Yeah.
Should we start sneaking? I start casting Pass Without a Trace? Without a trace?
Yes.
Sure.
And we start sneaking?
Do you want me to take point?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be
Let's-
right behind you.
Let's go.
Rylar, stay vigilant. Remember.
Oh yeah, no problem. I will.
Sneaky, sneaky.
I will. So,
Are we all being?
Yeah,
Sneaky?
might as well.
Yes. Might as well.
Yeah.
okay. Well, you don't have to travel very far. This is a smaller tunnel, both in, height and width, and in length. You actually only travel maybe a few hundred feet in. And in fact, there's this one part that's it narrows even further, and but opens up into a small cave, and in the cave, you notice as you get closer to this cave, before you go into it, you hear the trickle of water. And as you open up into this cave, you find a natural spring bubbling in one corner of this cave. And there's the stalagmites and stalactites have been carved out. Some of them have been purposely carved out to be made into seats. And there's looks like sort of a kind of a rough camp area, right? And near the spring, you all see a small, naked human child. You see him from behind, and he's crouched down near the water, and he's drinking the water.
Rylar.
I will.
Rylar.
Yes.
Eyes.
Yeah.
Is the child glowing?
His character pointed out everyone to do it in head, right? Rylar says to each of you in your head, the child doesn't appear to be glowing. Well, he doesn't say it like that. He's like, the child ain't glowing.
You see anything else glowing?
No. I'm gonna go ahead and
Say roughly how big is this space, or about how far away are we from
I'm gonna draw
the
it.
child? Oh. Okay.
So this one? Yay.
Yay, art time with StormyD.
Okay.
Or parkour.
Parkour!
There's a put out campfire here. This is just a rock. I'm gonna put around, around here are these little spots. This is just a rock too, rocks. And these are those seats. There's some, looks like some crates and some barrels, like a little supply area.
I didn't know this was a bougie shop.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Crate and barrel.
Oh, hard. All right. So, I don't really. This doesn't seem accurate. Let me see. Yeah, this will work, I guess. So I'm going to show you two different models. I'm going to use a different one. So I'm going to show you this model because it was what I was going to use. It heights wise, it's right. It's in skin color wise, it's right. It's this super pale skin, right? But that's not obviously.
But that's not what we're looking.
It's not a kid, right? Yeah. And this is the second model. This is actually more like the right size of a child, right? Mm. But since it's not naked or pale, it doesn't quite work. I'm going to use this one though, just because, it's not a plump little kid. It's a scrawny little kid. He's over here with his back to you guys, drinking the water. And let me get the team and have you guys in the room. Here's the bard, dun dun dun, war bard. Dun, dun, dun. Here's the Paladin, Cleric, dun dun dun.
With the floppy sword.
Yeah, I know. Here's the crazy green-haired Druid. Dun, dun, dun. Here's the Cleric of Goo. All right. If that's okay, is that the formation? Are you guys good with that?
Yes.
Yeah. I would like to
Rage.
What? No. I would like to use my divine sense to detect celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet. And it should be within 40-ish, I believe.
It's actually within 30 feet. It is not celestial fiend or undead. And you don't detect any celestial fiend or undead. Within the range of your sight. If I remember correctly, that ability doesn't let you see through walls or anything, so, but...
Yeah. That's not behind total cover.
Right.
Things like that.
Right.
And I don't remember, I can't remember if I used this ability near the Oni, but is the Oni considered a fiend?
No. The Oni
Okay.
is an ogre.
He's an ogre. No, I know, but just with this ability, I couldn't quite remember if he picked up on that.
Yeah. Technically, I guess technically, an ogre is not even an ogre. I'm pretty sure that they're. Let me double check. Yeah, they might be just considered giants, but let me double check that. They might actually just be considered ogres. I need to. Yeah, they're considered large giants.
Okay.
You guys are all standing there in kind of like this awkward pause of silence as you watch this little child drinking from the water. And then you notice it's eating some food that's on the ground next to him. You can't see it from the angle, the way it's crouched. But it's like munching on something.
I'm gonna go sneak up to him. Can I?
Do you say that in your head to Rylar? Okay, you say that in your head to Rylar, and Rylar asks first Miss Ray and then also Lorkris, and says Fern wants to go sneak up to it.
No.
So, and then what does Lorkris say? Both of them say no. But Rylar says, but both of them say nope. she's all like indignant looking.
Rylar, can you obviously in head,
Right.
Are you able to try to talk to it mentally? Would you be able to?
I'm trying to remember if that ability works. He says, well, as you're kind of chatting in your head, obviously a few moments pass.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the kid.
Oh yeah, all of you, your eyes are locked on him while you're having this mental conversation. And rather, as he's responding to you saying, I'm not sure, maybe, usually it only works with people that I'm friends with, but I guess it could work with anybody. As he's saying that, you see the kid start sniffing the air. And then the kid turns around and he sees you guys standing there.
I'm waving.
Because, by the way, I forgot to mention that the cave has some lichen on the walls, some sort of strange, kind of reddish moss that's the first time you've seen a living creature in this area.
Fern's excited. She
yeah.
can talk to plants.
And, well, it's a lichen. I said moss, that's the wrong word. It's more of a fungus. Which normally, I know she loves fungus, right? Yeah. At any rate, it's phosphorescent. It's giving off a kind of reddish, a slight orangish reddish glow in this area. And the kid looks at you guys and he goes wide-eyed. And you see he's eating meat. And he just keeps kind of eating meat and he's wide-eyed looking at you.
I say in common, hello.
Oh.
I start saying hello in all the languages that I know. Hello in Elven.
You say it in Elven? Okay. Still no reaction.
Draconic.
Still no reaction.
Dwarvish.
Still no reaction.
Celestial.
Still no reaction.
Giant.
He doesn't respond, but you can tell that he recognizes kind of like, he seems like he recognized like he had a reaction. He doesn't say anything in response, but he had a noticeable reaction when you spoke in Giant.
I say hello in Goblin just to check.
No, nothing.
If you
going back to Giant.
He responds, yeah.
Going back to
Giant. He responds to Giant.
Hmm.
I will reach in and I'll pull out my mentor's robe with the symbol of the bloody eye on it and speak, we are friend if you are not foe.
And so I'm gonna have you roll a deception, because technically you're lying. You're pretending to be part of the cult of the bloody eye.
I am not helping.
I know.
Fern
as
is
soon
just
as
like,
he pulls that out and
fungus.
points at it, she just goes, ugh.
She turns her attention to the fungus on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no. Not even close. Natural one.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, you don't really know how badly you flubbed it up, but he's the little kid. He's like cocking his head, and he's got this look on his face. And he kind of backs up, like he twists around a little bit, and he kind of backs up against the wall. And he kind of goes into this little, like on all fours. He looks kind of feral. Like even more feral than Fern did when you first met her.
Yeah, I look at Emillynn and I go, didn't work.
Fern goes down on all fours.
Yeah.
And she pulls out rations. And she starts going towards him.
Before you start to go forward, Rylar, he kind of grabs you before you do, and he says, "Oh, that's a good idea, Miss Fern. But guess what? I think I got some dried pie. You want to take that? Maybe the smell of the peach pie."
Yeah.
Okay.
I come down to his level and I ask in Giant, "Is this your home?"
He kind of relaxes and isn't, he's still kind of on all fours, but he kind of relaxes now. And he kind of eyes you with one eye. And he sees you all reaching for food in your pack. And he seems kind of curious what you're doing. Still staying way back over there though. 35 feet away, I believe now.
Start moving towards him.
All right, so you start moving towards him.
Fern, place the offering on the chair and then come back.
It's not really a chair, more of a stone, like a seat.
Yes.
This one is what you meant?
Yes.
Point at that one, okay. Is that what you're gonna do, Fern?
Sure.
Okay. So you go over and you put the piece of pie and maybe another part of your ration right there on the stone seat. And as you got a little closer, he backs up even further and kind of swipes at the air.
Fern, come back now.
With his hand.
Come back now.
Do you?
Just take a couple steps back and then I sit down.
On the stone?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I I sit on my hands.
Okay.
With my stick across my lap.
I sit where I'm at with my back against the wall to
All
let
right.
him know I'm non-threatening.
All right.
I suggest the two of you sit as well.
Rylar does the same. He sits right next to you. How about Lorkris?
Lorkris will actually step back into the tunnel.
How far? 5 feet or 10 feet?
Yeah, about right there.
Okay.
Yeah, right at the entrance, yeah. But Lorkris is removing himself, but then also creating a choke point for if anything tries to come through the tunnel. So I would say I'd be standing sideways where I can kind of glance in and see if anything.
Wow, you cut out a whole lot.
You did move pretty far away from the mic though.
I'm gonna stand my back against that wall kind of as I'm facing so I can glance into the room and see what's going on and also
Interesting. That's so weird that
So he wants to create a choke point.
Yeah, no, I get that he's wanting to create a choke point. All right, so you all sit down.
I say to the child and Giant, peace offering.
He kind of cocks his head, like he doesn't quite know what you're talking about. But he starts sniffing the air. He seems intrigued. He's got this look on his face like, Here, I'm going to go into roleplay mode for now. He's all like, kind of like a scared dog. He slowly inches towards what was left there, and he reaches out and grabs it really quick and then pulls back his little spot and smells it, gobbles it up. He seems really happy. He's like baring his teeth in a happy way. It's really kind of weird. Kind of creepy, actually, but.
Was that good?
By the way, you guys, since you got closer to him, you notice that something you didn't really notice before. and that is that he's got a because of the darkness and just because of the angle, the way he was sitting and everything, and just the obviousness of it. Now, I'm saying Fern, and now kind of everybody notices there's a dark, non-shiny, metallic kind of thing wrapped around his, it looks like a shackle on his ankle, and there's a looks like there's a sorry, it's not on his ankle, it's on his neck, and it was kind of just the way he was all hunkered up is why it wasn't quite as obvious, and because it's a really dark metal too. Yeah.
Is this, when it's making sounds, is it just like feral sounds, or does it sound like it's like he's creating speech of some kind? Like,
no, it definitely sounds like it sounds like feral sounds, but it also sounds like feral sounds of a young person who doesn't know how to speak, trying to communicate in some way, right?
I cast tongues on myself. Because if it understands a spoken language, as it does a giant, I can clearly understand it, whatever it says.
Well, but yeah, in this instance, it's not speaking a different language that you don't know or anything. It's more like this isn't an actual language. It's more like the limited, it's like the limited communication of something that hasn't really absorbed very much language, except maybe a few command words in a certain. Except maybe a few words in a specific language. Apparently, it seems to react to giant, but that's all. And so, unfortunately, it's not like it's trying to communicate with you, but tongue. I mean, it's okay if you want to cast the tongues. You cast the tongues and you try and listen to it. It's still not making sense. I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I was gonna say then if it wouldn't have made sense, because that's why I was trying to understand it.
Wow, that is so weird. It's like you're muting.
Which is really weird because I'm not talking quietly.
I know. It's not.
Is this any better?
I mean, it's not like it's like it's one of those things where when you're talking and it's working, right? But then sometimes your voice just stops. It's what's weird is it's the way Fern used to, or not Fern, but Druid, it would happen to her a lot. It is now starting to happen to you a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
We'll just keep going and it'll be okay. So just repeat what you said again. I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, if it didn't really make sense to cast tongues, that's what I was asking. Does it sound like he's trying to communicate in a language that's like?
Well, I still think it's clever of you to try, right? Because, but then again, you know Giantish, so there's no reason for you to cast tongues. It's not like he's trying to communicate in another language. It's like he's struggling to communicate at all.
Okay. Then Lorkris wouldn't cast
right,
tongues.
I figured. Okay. In some ways, it's more like the way an animal might try and communicate.
I pull out Chonkapillar.
You pull out Chonkapillar? Chonkapillar, what do you do with Chonkapillar? You just kind of let him see the little kid? So Chonkapillar gets this feeling of kind of nervousness and sadness at the same time.
Can I tell that's what he is telling me that the kid feels?
No, it's his own feelings.
Miss Ray, can you start playing the happy sounds song?
Sure.
On the violin.
So you start playing
Take my violin out.
Mm-hmm.
while they're doing that, is that fireplace or the campfire, is that actually lit?
No, it's not.
In the center?
I'm sorry I didn't clarify. It's been put out.
Okay.
I start playing the forest song.
He seems really intrigued by this. He's done eating all his food, and so he starts kind of crawling up close to you guys to get closer and listen. And he's like, "Ooh!" He's amazed by this. It's kind of freaking him out a little bit, but he's intrigued by the sound, and he kind of chuckles gleefully. And I'm gonna go back to the map.
Can I see if his collar, if there's like a latch or something, or if there was like a chain that he broke off?
You would have to investigate much closer to be able to determine, from the angle, you finally realize that it's on him. Yeah, so it's not an easy thing to see. Like, yeah. Rylar says, I'm sorry guys, I kind of screwed up. So he's not glowing, but now that I see that thing around his neck, it's kind of glowing.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see clearly if he's like actually like a human child, or like an elvish child?
No, he's definitely human.
Okay.
Is he stopped right there?
Mm-hmm. And he plops down and grabbing his feet.
I stop playing. I get up.
I'm going to use.
I get up
Slower.
and I start playing again
Mm-hmm.
as I start to dance while I'm playing.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my Druid craft
Mm-hmm.
and light the campfire.
Your druid craft?
Yeah, because it says you can instantly light or snuff out a candle, a torch, or a small campfire.
Oh, okay. He gets excited by that. And then yeah. He's all like, you're dancing, and he kind of dances around as you kind of do. I assume you move a little bit out. And he's obviously dancing awful, but he's like, he seems to be really enjoying this. As you move that direction, Rylar also moves in a little bit here too.
I'm gonna hop down and then offer my hand out to him.
Okay. He kind of, do you just move towards him, or do you, while he's dancing in these squares here? Or...
I only take one step and then I just offer my hand.
Okay, so you stay 10 feet away and you're just offering your hand? And he's not even really paying attention. He's just watching her dance and play the song. And so kind of almost ignoring you, because you put the food there. So he's kind of
dancing a little bit.
You're dancing a little bit. He notices this and sees you dancing, and then he's
and then as soon as he looks at me, I'll offer my hand.
He kind of stops dancing and looks. He got this. I guess he's got this suspicious look on his face. And then when you back off, he goes back to dancing to her song. And she's like swaying and dancing,
Yep.
Rylar's even starting to get into it.
And I eventually will finish the song to stop playing.
What's your passive perception, big guy?
My passive perception is 13.
Okay. Uh-oh, somebody had to go. Do you guys want to take a quick break right now? Like an intermission break since she had to go?
Yeah.
I can go to the bathroom and grab a snack.
Sure.
All right. Intermission time, everybody.
My collarbone just went click.
Oh, is it okay?
Yeah. It's, just like how you pop your knuckles or whatever. Like, I get that in my collarbone sometimes. I don't know why this mic is acting up in that sense.
I'm sorry I've made you self-conscious about it, dude.
No, it's one of those things. Like I did adjust some setting on my for like some gain and like noise reduction. But if anything, that would make me louder, not quieter.
Well, not necessarily. Some noise reduction will actually have the mic cut out. So,
I went the opposite direction. I increased noise because I realized that on my stream I'm not as clear as I could be. So I added a bit more gain. So I don't know why it would.
What?
It would be.
Okay. What did you guys get?
Chapoople.
Jaboodly.
Oh, okay. I had to. My brain was like, "What? Oh, you mean Chipotle? Yeah. Sorry, as somebody who's from New Mexico and around Texas and stuff, we're not big fans of Chipotle.
Thank you for the resub, Fate.
Oh yeah, Fate, thank you for the resub, buddy.
13 months?
13 months.
Wow, 13 months.
We got
Phenomenal. I'm honored.
1, 2, 1, 2, 6, 7.
There.
Poof. 13 20s. Yay.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna go. Let me.
A D20 for every month you've subscribed.
Mm-hmm. And it's always been a critical success every month.
That's true.
What's gonna happen when you reach that emote limit?
Well, what will happen is it'll be like one set, and then it'll be the next message will continue the remainder, and then the remainder, and then the remainder.
Either that,
So
or
I'll
you
just
could
start
do.
stacking.
For infinity.
You could do the D20 emote with the little arrow. You know, D20 to the power of 36.
Ooh, yeah. Ew. Ugh. Yes. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah.
So what did you guys think of my Whitney Houston cover?
Nice.
That's great.
I like
You
it.
want that plate?
I do.
There you go.
I heard this.
I
I heard the song on the way home from teaching one night, and then I was like, oh man, this would be great from a cleric's perspective.
yes.
Amazing.
I just need to flesh it out a little bit more, but at least I got the chorus.
Even though the cleric in the party doesn't actually really heal that often.
It's through.
Well, it's not just about the cleric in our party, it's cleric in any party. Can you imagine a cleric just belting that out?
Yes. And then going into the pose and it's like doing the "and I will always heal you and you and you and you."
You
and
get a heal.
everybody gets
You get a heal. You get a heal. Everybody gets a heal. Wait, how many
Except
spell
for you.
slots do I have?
Oh, crap.
Yeah, except for you. It's like you're cool, you're cool, you're cool, you're cool. No.
Hey, Brett. Yeah, it's always very interesting. I mean, if there's plenty of clerics about to deal out healing spells, then it's not a problem.
Who needs a healer when you have a
And then
bard and a...
He needs a
They're
healer when you
munching
have
on
Rylar.
Chipotle.
Yep, Chipotle.
That's a huge burrito fate.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's Chipotle.
Yeah,
They
for-
actually like out here in up here in the good old Pacific Northwest, they actually make a burrito. Unlike in California, they give you a pinner. It's just a nice little thin roll. You're like, why? In a bowl.
Oh, that's a lot of food in that bowl.
I'm gonna save half of it.
She's a growing girl.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was.
No,
Here we are now.
here we are.
And I'm surprised that the Chipotle person was able to wrap that burrito.
I double wrapped them for a reason.
Oh.
Yeah.
You asked for a double wrap?
Especially since they actually can make a burrito. I might as well now double wrap them to keep them, all together.
But still, that is like one massive burrito. It's almost as big as your head.
Uh-huh.
Guess what that is?
Not a burrito.
Olives, green olives,
Correct.
and
Kimchi.
Close. He's really close.
Oh, really?
sauerkraut.
Yep. Nailed it.
Ooh.
Yep. The grocery store finally had the green olives he's been looking for like the last month. So yeah, when he saw them, he went a little crazy with how many he picked up.
Yeah, so there's these little snack packs of olives.
Nice.
Yeah. He was like a kid in a candy store.
Brett
My
says-
ears look bigger or smaller depending on how
How you
because
put
sometimes I put them on a little bit further forward, and so they look bigger. If they sit back a little bit further, then they don't look as big.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I've noticed as well. I was making a joke. Oh, that's funny.
A growing girl.
what?
Oh yeah, her ears do look bigger.
Yes.
Can you believe that the bird has been in the room with us the entire time?
No way.
Yeah,
She's
she's been so
behaving, huh?
good. She's finally like I did this attachment on her cage where it's like a whole area for her to like play. And like there's a towel in there for her to like chew on. There's like toys for her to like roll around and stuff. And she's having a great old time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, before you guys, I was absolutely ignorant of birds. I had no idea birds were so active and animated. I always thought, why would you ever have a bird as a pet? They just seem boring and noisy. But I had no idea that they were affectionate and emotional and
Exactly what I thought.
very active and
Yep. I didn't think there was going to be as much energy with this thing or as much personality.
Does she
Yeah,
dance
what?
to music?
Sometimes she'll head bob and
She'll
tippy
do
tap.
this little tippy tap, and it's the cutest thing. But you have to be singing with it too. Like you have to like get into it and dance and sing, and then she'll kind of get into it a little bit, and then I don't like this song anymore.
Yeah.
So she's like a moody teenager.
Yeah, I mean, she is 19.
well, what are years like for birds of her species?
About 40.
She's 40 years old?
She's 19, but they can live to be about 40.
Welcome
Is
back,
always
Ezo.
back. Gotta admit, I'm a little jealous of that Chipotle, even though I'm not a big fan. But
Not a sandwich. Good guess, though.
And Fate is eating a burrito.
a double wrap. That's a lot of tortilla. I feel like that would ruin the flavor of the burrito. Be all bread.
You would think, but this guy right here will literally just eat the tortillas out of the package with just like the slightest little slice, like wipe of like peanut butter, kinda.
Oh, and honey.
I like peanut butter and
But it's
honey,
like
or peanut butter and
mostly-
banana and honey. Yeah.
But it's like mostly tortilla though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
And I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
she'll straight
Yeah,
up just
Starkitty,
eat
you know what's up.
tortillas.
Yep, I'll
You know
eat
what's up.
tortillas without anything on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I prefer to at least have a little something, but I can eat.
I can't.
I always make that, not even a joke, just a statement that as long as I have bread, water, peanut butter, and honey, and coffee, I'll be fine. I could live off that.
You'd be very malnourished.
I would say you could live off that, but you would, it would not
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be absolutely like wrecked, but I mean, I'd be happy eating that for the most part.
Dagoth, you have a
just
frog?
burrows.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
tries to use my fingers.
That's cool AF, Daddy Dagoth.
Have I missed these pictures on the Discord?
I can't speak for turkeys.
Eating tortillas straight out of the bag. Yes! Never
So
tried that.
there's a Mexican food restaurant near us called Rosa's Tortillas, and they have lots of different Mexican food, but they do specialize in making their own handmade flour tortillas. They're not like, packaged and brought to the store. They literally make their own that day, and those are fluffy and light and delicious enough that I even will eat them just straight without anything on them.
There is something just completely different about like a fresh tortilla, fresh made,
Mm-hmm.
than like the store-bought packaged tortillas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although the store-bought packaged ones do last longer because of the way they're processed and preserved and everything.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy Dagoth. So I just found your frog in the Discord. Why does your frog look like that last Dwemer in the Red Mountain in Morrowind? That's all I can see now when I look at it. You know which one I'm talking about, Stormy? Like when you're under the Red Mountain and you're trying to get, I can't remember either the gauntlet or the, like,
It's been a
the
while.
dagger, and there's that, Yagrum, and he's got like the spider legs, because he's the last dwarf.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. That's what I think of when I look at your frog. Which is super cool, by the way.
That is super cool. That's kind of funny and fitting.
Let me go grab my phone.
It's fitting that Daddy Dagoth has a frog that looks like Yagrum, right?
At least reminds me of it.
Mm-hmm.
I take it now that's why you have a good chunk of. Are those, is that a frog? Yeah. Now I get it. Now I understand.
Because Venus Baby's
Yeah.
his partner,
Yeah.
right?
That's exactly why you have that frog. Use that frog emote all the time. Man, just
All right,
a
I want
link
to see it
dawned
now.
on that
I'm
light bulb.
coming. Let me see this thing.
I am not particularly bright.
Oh my God! I think you've shown me that frog before, haven't you, Dagoth? He is awesome. He's freaking amazing. Now I want one, damn it. Does he literally like when you say eat your hand, does he literally try and like chew your finger off or what?
Those pictures that you took of the frog, it looks like he's sitting there just contemplating his life.
All frogs look like that though, don't they?
It's kind of like, should I stay here or should I go over there?
Should I stay or should I go now?
If I go, it will be trouble. If I
But
stay,
don't it will be double.
Hey, Daddy Digoff, if your frog somehow managed to magically start fighting crime, what weapon would he use? Just curious. You give him honey soaks. You soak your frog in honey?
He asked if your frog magically started fighting crime, what kind of weapon would your frog use?
That's an interesting question.
Our bird, it would be a machine gun, because she's not subtle.
That's fitting.
I think it would just be like, or like a
So she'd be like
bazooka?
the Punisher. She'd be Punisher Burb.
Super sticky tongue. Nice.
Yeah, I feel like she would bust into places with like rifles.
I feel like she'd actually be like the explosive ordnance that didn't go off when it was supposed to. You're like, if I touch it, it might explode. If I leave it alone, I might be safe. 50-50. Because she's unpredictable.
That's why I think like a machine gun or something that could flip between automatic and semi-automatic, and yeah, she'd be straight up like the Punisher, some crazy,
But not very
unhinged.
intelligent.
Oh no, she'd be dumb.
No.
Dumb as a box of rocks.
No brains.
No,
Just
Reese.
No, she's not the brightest crayon on the box.
Only because, like, the only reason why she's bright is because of her colors, not because of her intelligence. Yeah.
So while they're still eating, chat, as a reminder,
Yeah.
no D&D session next Saturday.
Right. Because, yeah, these folks are going to be on vacay, visiting family.
Visiting parental units.
Yep. Thank you for,
I am so excited.
that's awesome.
I'm so excited.
She's excited for the possibility to run.
To what? You cut
To
out
run
again.
what?
That she's excited for the possibility of running into a moose.
Moose.
And hugging the dogs.
Well,
But-
if you're gonna look out for a moose, just make sure you look out for a moose and a squirrel. If you find both together, take a picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Frogs make everything better.
Dogs.
Dogs.
His name is Sergeant Scully. He is a giant schnauzer. He has a giant meat beard. And I love him. All he wants to
you
be
need to-
is Little Spoon.
You need to clarify meat beard.
He has a giant beard that smells like meat.
Ew.
Dog.
Yeah, my parents feed our dogs like a half raw diet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
No.
he's stinky, but I love him. I don't care.
Nope.
I don't care at all. He just wants to give you gentle nibbles on your... Because he's just a gentle little lover.
It's funny. It's like your guys' microphone is censoring you guys at certain times, because all I heard was from Druid was he likes to give you gentle nibbles on your.
Yep. It is. It's like the mic is somehow censoring you guys. I was thinking the same thing. It sounds like someone muting a portion of dialogue.
It's so hilarious.
He likes to nibble on earlobes.
Earlobes. That's
Sergeant Schultz.
freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shut up, Izo!
Sergeant Schultz? Isn't
That
that?
sounds super familiar.
It's a movie reference.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm just trying to think.
I see nothing, I know nothing.
Hey, Aries. EV reference.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't that kind of before your time as Olaid? I'm thinking you're talking about that TV show, God, from like the 60s or 70s?
Talking about MASH?
No, not MASH.
Oh man.
It's really it is stupid, but it was the guys that were it was a comedy, but it was basically about these American pilots, soldiers, whatever, that were in a concentration camp run by, Germans, and Sergeant Schultz was the leader.
Hogan's Heroes.
Hogan's Heroes. There we go. Yes. I can't believe. Yeah, that. Way before you guys' time. That's funny.
Wow.
So, now that you guys, I guess you still are eating, but
No, we can
yeah,
still
no,
we can play.
Yeah.
okay. Dad, love that showing to you. Then. Oh, okay, right on. Well, thank you for the chatting while we snacked and peed and stuff. As always, rewatched it multiple times. Interesting. Right on.
Dagoth's never seen it, but he did watch a lot of MASH,
Back in the day. Yeah. I appreciate you guys. And we're gonna jump back into it because we're really in kind of an intense section right now of what's going on with these folks. And what is that all about?
I love you.
It's I love you in ASL.
Is it?
Oh, that's cool.
It's like Spider-Man. Really?
Spider-Man does that.
ASL?
it doesn't work.
This is I love you?
Yeah, American Sign Language.
I mean, I know what ASL is. I'm just like,
So this would mean I love you, and then if you did this and faced it towards yourself, circled your face, and do this, that's narcissistic, because it's a self-loved individual.
Oh, right on. Very cool. Very cool.
The more I learned that the other day.
So, do you need to wiggle the hand?
Oh no, I do. Like no.
Right on. Thank you for
It's
sharing that.
emphasis. It's
Yeah.
like a voice emphasis, essentially.
That's how we wave at each other.
So don't wiggle too fast. Make him off a stalkerish.
Oh, maybe.
Who knows?
All right.
Anyway.
So, you guys are trying to make some connection or communication with this little naked kid in this cave who seems to only recognize giantish. Does she have a question?
Rylar,
Rylar?
maybe because you're a human, you should go try to come approach him. Because I probably look extra scary because I'm not a human. And you are very sweet and charming.
Right, I was like, oh, okay, if you say so. So Rylar, he makes his way over, and you're still playing and dance swing, and she's kind of dancing, and he's dancing, and he kind of watches with his eyes as Rylar moves closer, and Rylar stops and waves at him. And he kind of cocks his head, and he wiggles some more. And Rylar kind of crouches down, and Rylar you see Rylar's eyes light up, and he has an idea, and he pulls out his sketchbook and starts showing pictures to the little kid, and the little kid's like, "Ooh," he's got this wide-eyed, and so he kind of waddles, you know, like a crab walk over to kind of plop down next to Rylar and look at the pictures that he's showing. And then one of the pictures is of Lorkris, and the little kid, he like points at Lorkris, and he points at the picture, and Rylar's like, you know, shaking his head, yeah. Oh, sorry, I guess I should be over here. He points at the picture and points at Lorkris, and the little kid's like, he's like motioning for you to come join.
Okay.
So what do you do?
Lorkris will kind of slowly come in and stay on the like opposite the fire, like opposite him, like keeping the fireplace in between us.
Gotcha. So he's like pointing at he like points at the drawing, and then he points at you, and he's all like, ooh, 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 you know, like almost like he's saying that you're like really big. And then he's like, and he like wanders over to his little mess of meat, and he brings it over and kind of flaps it down in front of the two of you, and basically like he's trying to share his meat with you guys. He's trying to. Do you keep playing as he's trying to share his meat with you guys? Mm-hmm. You just keep playing?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna finish the song and then I'll stop.
Oh, okay. So you finish the song, and Rylar takes some of the meat, and does Fern take some of the meat? It's kind of gross, half rotted, stinky, bloody raw. You're not sure what it came from. You pretend to eat it. Rylar starts pretending to eat it.
Oh, I eat it.
You eat it.
I eat it.
You start to go to eat it, and you know, of course, Chonkapillar is now on your shoulder because you brought him out of his little hovel in your pack, right? And you get this feeling of like nausea and like, don't do that from Rylar. I mean, not from Rylar, from Chonkapillar. He recoils at it. And you finish your song, and you all hear movement behind you in the tunnel. And you hear the movement a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not in the tunnel. It is behind you, but it's not in the tunnel. A non-magical, mechanical secret door opens up. And there's another cave here. And let's see, how can I, yeah, if I can. You hear the evil laugh of two monstrous beings as you see them in the darkness, stepping out of the darkness into the room in front of you.
Oh, that just looks.
Man,
We only have an hour, guys, to kill them all.
That's disrespectful.
yo. That's awesome.
Okay, let me see if that's a good angle for the.
It's those are some pretty gnarly looking minis, man.
I know,
Wow.
love them.
Those are great.
See if I can get the good angle. Find a good spot.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Do you guys need to wrap up right at 9:30 tonight?
No. Oh,
I work at
I
4:30.
forgot. I forgot.
Oh, you
I
have to work
forgot.
early again? Oh, okay.
Yeah, tomorrow's the last day.
Yay, the last time. Well, if you want, instead, we could wrap up early, right before combat, because this is a good. I mean, I know we basically just snacked and had dinner.
I mean, I'm it's up to you.
I don't think this combat is doable in an hour.
And you don't want to pause in the middle of it, I'm guessing.
We can. Like, that's okay. If you guys want to get this party started.
And it will be not next Saturday, but the Saturday after we come back to it.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. Shit. There was a part of me that wasn't expecting to fight today. Okay. That's
So,
early.
since it is going to be a couple of weeks, sorry, I drew this slightly badly. I made it too narrow. Pretend that that's the line or something. Suddenly, no longer invisible, floating in midair is also Mr. Oni Man. And he's completely blocked your exit.
I knew it was a trap.
Oh, even worse than that. He, since it's suddenly a surprise, I mean, technically I'm going to have everybody roll initiative, but this is sort of a surprise because of the music, right? He grins and laughs and yells out a command, and you see little feral kid absolutely go batshit bonkers, and suddenly transforms before your eyes into the largest freaking, like, you've never seen a werewolf before. If you were to see a regular werewolf, it would probably be half this size.
Well, hell.
And now you understand why no one ever noticed the fourth. I guess actually, the you know, I keep wanting to show it, but and then I realized that I should show all three of them, all four. Oh, we'll show the whole team here if I can pull it off.
Now there's that responsible part of me that's just like, no, probably end early. But then there's the rest of my soul that's just like, no.
Let me
But how cool would this
switch
fight be
to-
at the beginning of our first day back?
Yeah, so this little kid, probably 11, 12 years old, turns into this freaking monstrous, massive werewolf looking thing. And we'll switch to this screen
What are you doing?
because
You can't even.
let's see if we can do it from this camera.
Get out of the shot.
Sorry, I'm trying to Get a good angle for everybody. There we go. That's pretty good. What do you all think?
I think it's terrifying.
Yeah. Just a tad. And, you know, sadly, because the little kid was in his true form, even, like, I was actually, there was this opportunity during this stuff where you could have asked Rylar to cast True Sight on somebody, and even if you had, it wouldn't have mattered, because True Sight, if one of you had True Sight on you, and you saw the werewolf, you'd be able to see his natural form. But since this...
Yeah, not the other way around.
Right, not the other way around. Yep. The only thing that you can think, in this moment of terror, you realize the sad reality, and probably the reason why Chonkapillar was so sad and nervous, was that this means that these monsters, somewhere at some point in time in the past, years ago probably, took that kid, and back before he was even able to speak, and raised him into this cursed beast and enslaved him. And this, the sad reality is, you may have to kill him just to survive.
Did I understand the command word the Oni used?
Eat meat.
Did he say it in common?
No,
Oh.
he said it in giant.
Giant.
And
Alright.
he pointed at you guys, obviously.
Okay. Well. Now what?
Until next time on Isles of the Mist.
If you want to, we
Yeah.
can at least roll initiative too, so I have the initiative
Okay.
knocked out.
Because yeah, this is going to take longer than an hour.
Yeah.
Especially in this small little space.
What? You rolled a 6. Is that total?
Total.
Oh,
Fern got a 6. Okay.
yeah.
Ray,
4.
Lorkris,
I rolled a 1.
16.
Rylar also rolled a 1. He's got a 3. 16. At least one of you didn't roll terribly.
Bunny!
Oh my God! It's the bunny.
It's the burb.
Oh, I know. The bird that's gonna now try to just eat your food.
All she sees is your food now.
Yep. Coming. Coming. Right.
What does she have
my
in her
goodness. A piece of chip. I
Oh,
just am going to. Oh, I know.
she likes chips.
She likes pretty much whatever we're eating.
Oh, what an Ezo clip.
Hey,
Stormy,
hey,
speaker of
Spiper,
many
what's up,
languages.
buddy?
Hey, Spiper.
Hello.
Imperial suspicious web hype. Interesting.
Oh, I think it just happens to be
Emerald.
whatever the
Especially
like
for-
URL that just Twitch creates for clips.
For clips. Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that clip, Izolade. I'm curious. I'll be curious to check it out later. So, you guys
At
in
least
chat.
I get to use Moonbeam
What was that?
to its fullest potential.
Oh. Moonbeam. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got ourselves into a
Interesting.
very interesting situation.
That we did.
We all knew going into it was probably,
A trap?
bad.
Yeah.
There was a good. Yeah, I expect trap.
Yeah, I did too as a player. I was like, yeah, it's probably gonna trap, but
But you were true to your characters, and I think I did fake you out a little bit with the little kid. He was great bait, but it turns out he's more than just bait.
Well, I mean, like,
I know.
as soon as you said that the collar was going, I was like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a trap.
What were you saying about to say, Druid?
Oh, I was gonna basically just be like, okay, now Rylar, you should probably try to like, or like Miss Ray, we should probably try to get this collar off or something.
You notice obviously that the collar changes in size to match his new monstrous size.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an exciting couple of weeks for lots of reasons. You're going to get to spend some great time with family. We're happy for you. And then you get to look forward to
Coming back to this.
Coming back to this.
Yes.
Oh, they can't see it. You're all like pointing at it.
Back to all that.
Coming back to this potential onslaught. Yes. It's not quite as impactful from that angle above, but that's all right. Still pretty cool. Going to be a blast.
Everybody put your predictions in. Don't give the DM ideas.
Yes.
Are we going to survive this battle? Is it going to be a TPK?
Or you know, it doesn't have to be something that, dramatic and drastic. You could put in who you think is going to go down, right?
Who's going to go down first?
Which monster you think is going to be defeated first.
Well, this is gonna be interesting.
How many come to we just moments is Lorkris gonna experience in this fight?
Right?
I love how you put that. How many? Not just if he will, but
yeah, all as well. Maybe not with the D&D party. Dagoth, you are right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, this is rough. I don't like it.
Well, I mean, we kind of
I love it.
got what we were looking for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be very
so brainstorm.
interesting trying to cast a fireball in this small little area.
I mean, 100% you can right behind us.
Well, I can into this room.
Do it. Will you come out on top or get rickety wrecked?
Rickety wrecked.
Yes. Whatever.
He said wet.
whacked. I love it.
That's it.
Yes, riggedy whacked. Hot diggity dog.
It's coming up
Not
next
yet.
week.
No, not next week. In 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just after Thanksgiving, we get to be thankful.
We get to be thankful for what?
Yeah.
You just cut out completely.
Wow, we lost a whole sentence.
Yeah.
Wow. This is
Your
disappointing.
microphone is censoring you.
Is it his mic or I don't know? Maybe.
Well, we get to come back after Thanksgiving and being thankful for all the friends that we have, and then watch one of them try to murder others.
True. Be thankful you didn't get TKO'd tonight. Yeah.
And at the same
Yeah.
time, maybe, I don't know, try and figure out a way if it's possible. Just save this
the
kid.
child.
Oh, Lorkris already has an idea.
Good.
Oh, Fern, that's gonna be literally the only thing Fern can focus on. Because I can actually moonbeam and like it's I could use
Don't ruin it.
Anyway.
Yep. You hold that.
Lorkris
You hold
can
that thought. We'll
versus-
look forward to seeing the creativity of our players
Gotcha.
and stuff.
Yes. Anyway.
So before we wrap up, I know normally we do
Yeah.
you do the thing where at the beginning we say what stood out to people the most and everything, but this might ruin it a little bit. But I'm just curious. Just want to hear from you players what you think of the ethical dilemma part of this that I've thrown your way.
With the child.
Yeah.
love it.
As a player, as a character.
I'm asking as a player. Yeah.
As a player? Oh, I think it's great. I think it's great. I mean, I see where it plays on like expectations and like what would you do in this situation. You know, and it's like it's a hard decision to make in some way, but it's like gotta do what you gotta do, right? Kind of you're here for something, but there's always a choice of some kind, and the decisions can be made for the better.
Hey, at least you have 2 weeks to think about it, right?
That's probably the worst part.
Yeah.
Is you have 2 weeks to have this right here just ingrained in being like, all those minis are larger than.
I could just see them like on their little vacation pulling up the YouTube video going, okay, if we plan this way.
Yeah, right.
It's totally okay if you guys want to do that. I don't mind.
You know what I did is I bought little mini microphones so I could record our conversations that we have about D&D.
Really? You mean like
Yeah,
the little handhelds,
mics.
like if somebody wants to take notes?
Little like Bluetooth lapel, or you can hold them. But like they plug into the phone.
Oh, so kind of like what we're using.
But less advanced, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. What do you want?
Right on.
Hey,
Well,
do you want-
alrighty. It's been fun from my perspective, as a DM, setting this up and seeing what path you follow this direction, and how much caution you would throw to the wind or not. And you guys, you did
exactly what we wanted.
I did exactly what I expected you probably would do.
Yeah.
I think you did, but
Oh yeah.
yes, it was a great build up. All right, well,
Good build up. Yes.
with that, speaking of build up, I guess that's it. We're gonna have to wrap it up a bit early tonight, but we
Last time.
yes, we'll see you all next time in a couple of weeks. You all have a wonderful evening. Make sure you check out Fate tomorrow night. He's gonna be streaming.
Oh yeah.
And and then we'll see you on Monday.
Yar, we be plundering.
We be plundering.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. You are much appreciated.